Welcome. I know it's been a while. Life just kept happening, as it unfortunately has a habit of doing. Some stuff has changed since that last show, I guess. My parting has changed sides for one. Anyway, welcome to episode 74, or episode 11 of season 8, if you prefer that way of keeping track of episode numbers, of Behind the Screen, a community content show that is, I guess, sort of like a workshop / live Q&A session, where I talk you through my process about writing TTRPG content. In this season within a season of the show, I suppose. Both seasons are dealing with Canis Minor material for Pugmire, but for this season within a season, I'm taking the notes I wrote to run an actual play in promotion of the Realms of Pugmire Kickstarter that happened quite some time ago now. And I'm fleshing them out, making them into an adventure that people can actually, run for their own games if they so choose. Before we get started, of course, the standard disclaimer does apply. I do not speak for Onyx Path, nor is this project official material. All views and opinions expressed are my own, and this material will be available to buy on Canis Minor. It doesn't say Canis Minor in my notes, by the way, for anyone curious. It says square bracket, insert community content platform here, square bracket. I don't know why I wanted to share that information with you, but I did. I am merely a grateful fan with a platform. I do also happen to be into freelance for Onyx Path, but that's by the by. Don't take what I say here as gospel. I just someone who got lucky with submissions windows and things. I am disabled. I do experience muscle spasms and throughout my body, and depending on what if they affect the muscles of my jaw, my throat, etc., it can cause a worsening of my normal stutter. Or slurring of speech. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I will try to finish one before going on to the next. If you raise a point in chat, and please do feel free to interact as much or as little as you want to in chat. Any and all interaction is gratefully appreciated. Just you being here and watching, even if you're not interacting via the chat, is incredible support for the show. I will try to acknowledge that I've seen it. I will reply to it if it's I was about to say a Boolean question. If it's a very short question to answer, is probably a better way of phrasing that. And then continue on with what I was saying. So the overall season, as I said, this was a season within a season. The overall season, for those who are joining us now, I'm working on a series of additional rules and callings. And knacks, or tricks, I guess. Sorry. It's covering Mao as well, so knacks is the catch-all, I suppose. For kind of like chasers and highway patrol, road wardens and banditry and stuff as playable options. But then, as I say, the Realms of Pugmire Kickstarter happened, and there was one person on the Onyx Path Discord server that floated the idea of me turning my notes into something usable, and I went, you know what, why don't I? Why don't I let people play through the adventure? So here we are. If you don't know what Pugmire is, in essence, it's D&D with dogs. The second edition, which is called Realms of Pugmire, is not out yet. It was kickstarted, but it has not released yet. It's the books you can get right now: Pugmire, Monarchies of Mao, Squeaks of the Deep, Pirates of Pugmire, and a couple of other source books. They all use a modified but still quite recognizable 5th edition D&D 5th edition rule set. Sometimes it's changed, some things are simplified, but it's still recognizable as an adaptation of that rule set. But the general shtick is that it is so far in the future that humanity has disappeared. There's no reason given for this. You can make up your own for your own games. But before humanity disappeared, we left uplifted animals behind. Dogs, cats, rodents, badgers, which also includes things like otters and hedgehogs. I guess mustelids and things. Lizards, birds. And they walk on their hind legs. They still live comparable they live longer than their counterparts, but not as long as humans. They can speak a common language. They can cast spells through a variety of means, and generally any adventures that you would take an adventuring party on in another fantasy game, you can probably do in the post-apocalyptic fantasy of Pugmire. It's a game that straddles many genres. You can lean in on the post-apocalyptic side of things, of like a world that has grown through the cracks of the old world. You can keep it more high fantasy. You can lean into the creepy aspect of these are the ruins and the things that humanity left behind. But it's great because it's so flexible as a game. But it, as a 5e inheritor, does use a d20 based system to resolve most things. So you'd roll a d20, you'd add a modifier from your character sheet, if any, and if you get equal to or higher than the difficulty of the roll, you succeed. And I'm just giving some brief explanations now about game terms, just because I don't want to forget before I get into the weeds, so to speak. As it's an Onyx Path published game, Pugsteady Games, I believe, is the name of the company that owns the game, but Onyx Path publishes it. There is provision for community content on the Canis Minor platform, which is kind of part of DriveThruRPG, and that's where this material will ultimately end up. But before I get into the nitty-gritty of the show, standard kind of breakdown of things happening right now. As usual, of course, the best... I have pressed all of the wrong buttons on my keyboard. It is a good day. As usual, the best place to go for updates or anything is the Monday meeting notes. And the big thing, the Monday meeting notes right now, understandably so, is the current Back-A-Kit crowdfunding campaign for The World Below. The World Below is essentially an OSR setting meets story path. If you're a fan of the grim, gritty, quite relatively high lethality ideas and philosophies behind OSR stuff, you might enjoy The World Below. It is what it sounds like. It is a civilization. Civilization and culture and societies had to move below the surface of the planet to avoid terrible things happening, and is struggling. It's a struggle for survival. Let's say it's currently funding on Back-A-Kit. It is funded. There are 21 days left, and it's at $36,685 of the 30,000 goal. So you'll get it, assuming you don't remove your pledge. And as usual, I would assume you get access to the backer manuscript previews that Onyx Path habitually do through the... Yes, I can confirm that Onyx Path habitually do through for their crowdfunding campaigns, where you get chunks of the manuscript as it stands right this moment throughout. Unsurprisingly, there are a lot of links for World Below interviews and videos and actual plays. I've taken part in one of them a while ago. Well, I took part in one of them a while ago. Linked through the Monday meeting notes, as well as a preview of the messenger bag that has been designed to support The World Below. And another stretch goal on the horizon is Ed Greenwood's Monstrous Ecology. Ed Greenwood, famous for creating the Forgotten Realms D&D setting, was part of the writing team for The World Below, and it's just a book about the flora and fauna, the fauna of The World Below. So if that seems interesting to you, definitely check it out. If you want more information on the setting, Matthew Dawkins has a whole host of YouTube and podcast episodes about The World Below. So there's more resources there, as well as purely actual plays if you are interested in it. A couple of other things to note: DriveThruRPG's Halloween sale is on. And this show won't be running next Tuesday, but I might drop a discount key for my Trinity Continuum Horrors of the Continuum supplement next on Tuesday, which is Halloween. I might run a sale on it. I haven't decided yet. I should probably decide that. But that's for me to do. So that's the Halloween sale. Half Halloween is Indie Press Revolution, where they do discounted physical books. And Bundle of Holding currently have a Scarred Lands 5e sale, where a portion of the earnings go to the Badana Group if you want to pick up any Scarred Lands books. Sorry. You are waiting on Lore of the Traditions. The print-on-demand version was delayed as there were some errors with it. Onyx Path have received the corrected versions, and it should be available from Wednesday onwards. And also on Wednesday is another tasty bit for Cabin in the Woods, if you're looking to run a Halloween one-shot. So that's exciting. And the rest of the Monday meeting notes are that the team spent some time reviewing which books will be crowdfunded next year. So that's exciting. Hopefully there's something coming to the crowdfunding platforms next year that you are excited for. Okay, so happening this week, all of these times are in EDT. Obviously, right now, my show. 8 p.m. tonight is Trinity Continuum Assassins one-on-one shot, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is a one-shot with a single player. It seems to be a lot of fun. They've been rotating players. Then on Wednesday, if you are curious about the Word Below, there is a Roll for Wishes one-shot supporting the Roll for Wishes campaign. That is run by Matthew Dawkins, the creator of the Word Below, I believe. Thursday, 1 p.m, if you like this show, boy, does Travis have a treat for you as they run you through their own writing for the Story Path Nexus and Trinity Continuum Aeon. Really took them long enough to copy the show concept, but that was a joke. Like, anyone can do the show, literally. Who's confident enough to write on stream. Hunt of the Vigil, Fear and Loathing at 9 p.m. Oh, sorry, that Trinity Continuum Story Path Nexus writing sessions at Thursday at 1 p.m. Thursday, 9 p.m, Hunt of the Vigil, Fear and Loathing. Saturday, 2 p.m, The World Below Meet Your Makers, which is an interview with some of the World Below, or at least one of the World Below team. Saturday, 9 p.m, Changeling The Lost Viva Las Vegas. And Sunday, 6 p.m, Scion 2nd Edition Godsend. Media highlight of the week, perhaps, unsurprisingly, The Gentleman's Guide to the World Below on YouTube. And Spotify's podcast version. As well as some actual plays. Scroll. Touched on sales. On sale this week. Lore of the Traditions. They came from the Cabin in the Woods for... They came from Camp Murder Lake. Apologies for some trapped wind. This month's game night theme, as it is game night with Onyx Path this very Friday, will be the theme is the World Below, of course, but any game can be played, or if you wish, can be run. Project status update: Scion, Titans, Rising, Origin, and Hero Adventures are in first draft in art direction. Exalted 3rd Edition, 8 directions, and Many-Faced Strangers. The World Below, and They Came From Cyclops Cave, and Classified Jumpstarts. In layout, we have Scion Once and Future, and in Werewolf 20, Icons of Rage. Proofing, Scion Community Content Guide. If you are interested in community content work and writing it yourself, Onyx Path are putting together a couple of guides for a few of their lines to provide, useful information and things about how to do such a thing. Obviously, they want to get people writing community content. It allows new writers into the field, puts eyes on the games. Everyone has a good time. Hunt of the Virtual Jumpstart. They came from Classified. They came from the Cyclops' Cave. And Exalted 3rd Edition Across the 8 Directions Sans Maps, plural, sorry. And then now press Trinity Continuum Adventure. Trinity Continuum Adventure Screen and Booklet. 1220 Apocalyptic Record Book, Screen and Booklet. Exalted Essence Screen, Mage 20, Lore of the Traditions. Exalted 3rd Edition Crucible of Legends VTT Tokens. Scion Dragon Jumpstart. Exalted Essence Novella 1 and 3, as well as the VTT assets. Trinity Continuum Anima. Exalted 3rd Edition Crucible of Legends. They came from Trinity Continuum Player's Guide Kickstarter shirt. Exalted 3rd Edition Exigent shirt. And then M20 Lore of the Traditions, and there's that Taste of It, obviously, on sale. Yes, I've mentioned this before, but anytime I see a TC in as part of a block of like initials. I just go to they came from, but in this instance it was like the Trinity Continuing Players Guide. And today's reason to celebrate, yesterday, October 23rd, 1958, the Smurfs first appeared. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to hydrate. And then we can continue. Okay, so as I said, please do feel free to ask as many questions throughout this process as you want. I will I will likely be mentioning spoilers for the actual play, so if you do want to watch the actual play beforehand, it's all in a playlist there. You can't really pause this video on Twitch to watch a... Well, I mean, I guess you could pause the video on Twitch if you wanted to watch a, like, 6, 7, 8... I can't remember, like, 8-hour actual play. But maybe don't. Maybe just stop the video. Go watch that, and then come back. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want anyway. It's your time. Yes, so the gist of it was... no, not the gist of it. Don't want to sum it up. To promote the Kickstarter for the Realms of Pugmire, it was using a rule set that is no longer the current-ish rule set because of OGL stuff, because that came out... We were using a rule set that came out before the OGL, and things will likely have changed, is what I'm trying to say. There we go. So please don't expect it to be the full Realms of Pugmire experience. That will likely be extremely different. Or likely be different, I should say. But it should give you a taster. None of the players had played Pugmire before. I knew about Pugmire, I should specify. I knew about Pugmire, I'd read the rulebook, I'd written a little piece of community content for it beforehand, but I was still relatively fresh to it. So please don't judge me too harshly. Any of the Pugmire development team are watching, I apologise that my deception has finally been unearthed. What were you doing hiring me? To write for you. Yes, so everyone had a lot of fun, and as I say, we're going back to smarten up my notes about what happened and things of that nature. Already in this season within a season, I've discussed that you're likely, in an average like 2 to 3 hour session, you're likely going to get roughly 3 scenes, depending on, give or take time. You're going to have 3 scenes, give or take, depending on how long they run. And then how usually I write encounters for a purpose, how, particularly when writing for an actual play or a limited series, or if you have a time limit for your home games, about how you should be wary about writing too much, which I did for this. I included too much information. I did kind of overwhelm the players by making them feel like they had too much to do. And if that is the case, I believe I owned up to this. I just admitted that I gave them loads of plot hooks. I wasn't sure exactly what they'd engage with the most. Obviously, if you are writing this, if you're writing a short form story for your home games, you can talk to your players about what they want to interact with and what they're most excited about exploring, so you can tailor the material. But when it comes to community content, because it's not necessarily for your players, you can still tailor it. You can still give them one hook to interact with, or you can do what I've done and give them several hooks that will lead to the same place. It makes it feel more sandboxy at the cost of it being potentially overwhelming. That is ultimately only a decision you can make. I'm going to err on the side of caution and include a note include an explanation in the introduction to this supplement, to this adventure, about why there's so many different plot hooks, or about why there's the 2 main avenues of investigation the players can undertake. So, sorry, I didn't sleep very well last night. So there we are. That's where we're at. So I've already gone through and smartened and expanded upon, elaborated upon, I guess, more accurate, and commented on the critical path that my players took through the adventure. And now I'm going back through and taking the small scenes that were the alternate path the players could have taken and fleshing them out to give them a purpose and to expand upon why they're present in the narrative. So as you can see, I did scene, I think it was 1B, 2B, 1B. Oh yeah, it's because it's prologue before that. Did scene 1B last time, expanding about like the purpose of the scene and the information that the NPC the players are meeting with has, and some tips about different ways you can play the scene to make the players feel like they have leverage or if they feel disposable. So I did also need to expand slightly here. If she does, she will warn the characters against being used by the nobles to achieve their own ends and influence standings among the other hound families. There we go. Just like there is an introduction of the politicking. So, meeting the Afghan hounds. So I need commentary, and then I need read aloud text. Elspeth, Afghan hand, interacts solely with the characters, expecting Mina to stand quietly in the background. So I guess she's suspicious of the characters, but willing to humour them. Okay. And if I scroll up to the top to the dramatis personae, Afghan hounds. Elspeth is a widow, and Mina is her daughter. Okay. So, as I've said, I try to write every encounter with a purpose, and equally every scene should ideally serve a purpose. Obviously, in this instance, each scene should be, because it is a focused narrative, the scene should move things in a certain direction. And as you can see, in the hooks for this scene, she asks if the characters are interested in any work on the side. If they are, she directs them to speak with Annie. Annie tells them about a new prospect that needs sweeping for monsters and unseen, which leads into the rat tunnels underneath the spoil. So this scene is simply another way of getting the players into the spoil. If they choose to focus on this rather than the missing persons case, they won't get the mayor's backing, but they'll have the support of the Afghan hounds for any future interactions and endeavours within Houndton itself. Oh yeah, the adventure set in Houndton, not in the rural city of Pugmire. So, commentary. If the characters pursue the hook given to them below, again, the Afghan hounds backing, but not the mares. Characters pursue the hook given to them below before looking into the missing citizens. So again, the Afghan hounds backing. How I missed out 2 whole letters there. There we go. But not the mares. This sets them up for future political intrigue, should they wish to engage with this. should they wish to engage with that style of play. The Afghan hounds will not hesitate to make their association the characters known, but the characters do anything suitably heroic, such as rescue the missing citizens, after conducting work on behalf of this family. And then location, the luxurious sitting room in Castle Afghan. So, read aloud text. The curtains pull back from the windows allow you an unobstructed view of Houndton in the valley below. Room, let's say, pulled back from the floor to ceiling windows. Out in the valley below, and makes the comfortably appointed room you stand in seem larger than it is. How old is Elspeth? Elderly. You know what? I'm just going to turn on the navigation pane because that is a lot easier. The silver bird Elspeth, Afghan hound, sits on a luxurious sofa and is attended to and wears a rich silk dress. The daughter stands awkwardly by a sideboard. In a much plainer dress. And looks expectantly at her mother for instructions. So obviously, when it comes to read aloud, I think I've mentioned this before, but just in case anyone hasn't heard it, or in case I haven't mentioned it before, when it comes to read aloud text, you don't want to overwhelm your players with information. So very much less is more, and you want to hit the main points of the scene. And then, that they would see at first glance, and then as things progress, as the conversation happens, as role playing occurs, draw in other elements. So, like if one of the characters takes an interest in Mina Afghan Hound, then draw their attention to the fact that she's standing awkwardly in front of a carved wooden sideboard decorated with the family crest, for example. and that the silverware on the platter is stamped with chivalric arms of like let's say the monarchies. So there's a link between the Afghan hounds and the monarchies of Mao, for example. The read aloud text is literally just to set the scene. Everything else can then be built on as the scene progresses. Unfortunately, of course, I don't have the time to provide, or space to provide all of the information, to provide like a full description of the room, and I very much personally believe that a GM can be given the building blocks of the scene, but then should be allowed, or a guide in this instance, but then should be allowed to build whatever picture they want with them, build whatever model they want with them, let's say. If you prefer visual terms, I guess give them the paints, they can paint the picture they want to paint. This literally is just an introduction to what the players see as they enter the room. You are shown to seem larger than it is. For her part, Lady Afghan Hound simply clears her throat quietly and gestures for you to sit. And of course you can use descriptions like the fact that she's sitting ramrod straight to convey something about her personality, without going too much into detail. So, location, the luxurious sitting room in Castle Afghan, and then information. Now this is where a lot of the extra stuff comes from, because I'm now going to expand on my notes. Interacts with the characters, expecting me to stand quietly in the background and serves their guests. She is suspicious of the characters, but willing to humour them. And her tone throughout the conversation is imperious. Knows little about... Okay, so... Sorry, I'm just trying to remind myself about why there would be... Right, that's it. So they'd be going to the nobles to see if the nobles know anything about the missing people, or the if there's any evidence pointing to the missing relic being taken by the nobles. I just having to refresh my mind. I mean, technically these meetings aren't needed. They're just here for colour more than anything. Anyway, she knows little about the missing citizens. They were commenting with obviously feigned concern. And comments with obviously feigned concern. That she hopes they are found soon. Hook. She asks if the characters are interested in any work on the side. If they are, she directs them to speak with Annie. Her butler. It tells about a new prospect, a new mining prospect that needs sweeping for monsters and unseen. Prospect leads into the rat tunnels underneath the spoil and be used as a dungeon crawl if you so wish. See the spoil on page X for more information. You know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why did I even include all of these meeting scenes? Because they're not needed. They would never... the players wouldn't necessarily think to go speak with the nobles. I mean, I'm going to flesh them out anyway, because it's good practice. I make them... when I go through it and edit this, I will tie them in to be more relevant. But I honestly think I got a bit carried away making a supporting cast and was just wanted to include them if that makes sense to anyone watching. Which is obviously not something you should do if you're looking to streamline your writing process. You should keep it so that almost everything serves the narrative rather than being there just for colour. I just happen to like colour and background world building. But there's definitely stuff that I would include more of if this were to be a much larger adventure rather than the very focused adventure that I wrote it to be. But that's the benefit of hindsight, really. In hindsight, this serves no actual purpose in the adventure, but I'm taking the fact that I've written it and it is presenting me with an opportunity to tie it into the adventure if the players so choose. So, while I'm with that in mind, putting a good word with the characters with the other nobles if they agree to investigate, and personally escort them to any meetings if they find some actionable evidence, or can prove with some credibility that the noble family is involved or may know than they are letting on. So then I probably should include some clues that could be interpreted as leading to a noble family. Anyway. Meeting the Basset Hounds. Grounds of Castle Basset. Information relevant to apply to the characters as he leads them to his wife. Painting a view of them from the grounds. If the characters are polite and compliment her work, the Basset Hounds will respond favourably. Hook, when leaving, Walter Cairn will approach the characters and ask if they can assist in a discreet manner. If they matter, they agree, he will ask them to watch the castle at night. He knows the young master is sneaking out and worries for his safety. Okay, so this one, let's have Walter send like a message to the player characters. Oh, 1 second. Apologies. Don't know where that came from. Commentary. Every time I say commentary and see it with all caps, I'm reminded of Dr. Horrible sing-along blog and his musical commentary. Anyways, so commentary. If you want to include this scene for world building purposes, or simply to add an extra potential potential story path, but not the single word story path, because that's something completely different. For a longer campaign, Alter can contact the characters via messenger and invite them meet him at the castle. Discreetly. Once they are introduced to the Basset Hounds and experience the scene below. As it is written, save for the fact that the Basset Hounds themselves are concerned for their son's safety. I don't wish to interfere. Oh yes, that was it. I need to check something. But you can't see what I'm doing because I'm not capturing the window, so it's fine. Yes, that was it. That was why I included some of these. A tuft of... should have no way of suspecting this to be the case, so they may interpret it as either the transfer from a Basset Hound or a Greyhound. You have to draw several conclusions, strengthening the potential link to the Basset Hounds and the Greyhounds. Indicating the thief was small of stature. The size of a Basset or Foxhound. So the idea I'm here is that the clues, obviously, as the characters, I vaguely remembering my thought process now, as the characters would have no way of knowing, and theoretically no way of suspecting the rat's involvement in the court of Labotor. My ideas was to point them in the direction of a variety of the noble families of Houndton, to, if they wanted to engage with the politicking and the intrigue in that respect, and to investigate the nobles themselves. Obviously, that will lead nowhere because the nobles aren't involved and know nothing. But there we are. There we have it. Bow down to the Basset Hounds. But don't wish to Location: the grounds of Castle Bassett. Lord Roland Bassett Hound has escorted you through grounds of his castle, pointing out items of interest and giving you a vaguely entertaining account of his family history. Hang on, before I make descriptions happen. Uses a cane he doesn't need. And she's an amateur artist. Okay. Bassett Hound, sorry. His cheerful demeanor suits the eccentric decorations scattered throughout the grounds, and he led you to his wife, who sits perched on a stool in front of a canvas. Looks up at your approach. Wipes her hands on a paint-smeared apron. Wipes hands on the paint-smeared apron, protecting the simple dress she wears. Location: the grounds of Castle Bassett. Information: Roland Bassett Hound. To apply to the characters he leads them to. Okay, so the characters are polite and compliment. I've forgotten her name already. Helena, there we go. Helena Bassett Hound's work. Both she and her husband will respond favorably and open up to the characters. What does that mean? Let's get rid of that. It doesn't really mean anything. Treat the characters respectfully. They are both slightly eccentric and are clearly in love. There is an undercurrent of insecurity to the conversation, and they will admit, if pressed, they feel the other nobles look down on them. So there's your potential reason if you want to seed the red herring that the Bassett Hounds are the ones behind the relic theft from the Transylvanian Hounds. Right, do need to check something. They know nothing about the missing citizens. Called the stolen relic. but will advise characters to talk to their son, who leaves the grounds with a greater frequency than they do. Greater frequency than they. He can be found awkwardly lifting weights in a lake house and advises the characters to visit the smelting pot, I think I called it. Yes. To visit the smelting pot as a good source of information for goings on. Hyphenated? In the spot. And then that link that ties it in with the rest of the adventure, so that there's a reason, there is some logical progression rather than just, oh, guess what do we do now? The characters agree to do this. They can follow Maxim Basset Hound to the Wagging Tail, a tavern on the border of the spoil, and the Wolfhounds land, where he flirts awkwardly with the land. I guess publican is a gender-neutral term for landlord, landlady. Everything about Maxim is just awkward. That's the vibe that I'm trying to convey here. I'll probably, during editing and when I have more time to think about this and to decide on personalities and things, I will probably include some like personality traits here for like conversational tone and language used and things of that nature, rather than just giving some very brusque information. What I've got here is good enough for notes, but it needs fleshing out, and things of that nature I'm not entirely comfortable doing on stream, just because I know it takes me a while to decide on how this character talks or how to describe how this character talks and their personality type. So I probably will just do that off stream. So, if they are pointed towards the Basset Hounds, now there's a way for them to get from the Basset Hounds to the spoil. Oops, sorry about catching the microphone in my hand. Pointing out items of interest. With his cane. Highlight the fact he uses the cane. In case the players decide that the weird smudged paw print is because they put a fake paw on the end of his cane. Okay. Save, because progress has been made. And as usual, if you're going to be doing anything like this, save frequently. Do not do what I do and forget to save. Did I flesh out the sprawl? The brawl, sorry. No, I did not. We'll get onto that as well at some point. Okay, meeting the Greyhounds. Spot and sitting room in the Grey entrance hall of Castle Greyhound. Gertrude and Joseph Greyhound. You know, I'm just going to copy this. Greet the characters frostily. They make it clear they've agreed to the meeting because it is tradition to do such things. Sorry, I'm just expanding these. We'll greet the characters frostily. They make it clear that they've agreed to the meeting because it is traditional to do such things in the run-up. It is traditional to meet with honoured guests. How'd they know they're honoured? I've written myself into a corner here, chat. And now we do my favourite. How do I get out of the corner? Right, they make it clear they have agreed to the meeting because they want they want the characters to do something for them. Uncover more gossip and rumours for them to hold over the other families. If they have... let's clarify, if the characters have learned to Foxhound support, the Greyhounds do thaw slightly as they believe the characters be working for Hampton's best interests. They are a source of gossip. Rumours. Any Staffordshire have been seen around the slag, probably appointing Afghan Hound Silver. The Basset Hounds are family of dreamers, not content with what they have in life. They are thinking of selling up and moving. The Foxhounds have some secret knowledge they're going to use to make sure they retain the position of America in the capital, Linda. That Victoria Wolfhound is no better than she should be, sneaking out at all times of the night. And the Transylvanian Hounds are barely able to pay their staff. It would break Lachlan's heart if they had to let the estate manager go. There we go. Okay, so, commentary. This scene has no hook of its own. Greyhounds can provide useful information for the characters to exploit if they are looking to investigate or coerce the other noble families. Additionally, as presented here, make great story seeds for further adventures. Focusing on Hampton's political intrigues. The rug beneath your paws is barely warmer than the austere, barely warmer than the stone slabs it rests upon. Portraits of greyhounds from years past stare down at you from the walls. The oil's cracked. No, let's say the oil's smooth and the frame's polished. Clearly taking care of the portraits. Not putting the money anywhere else, but they're clearly taking care of the family portraits. I'm not going to provide like time of day information for any of these because it doesn't seem much point, because it could happen at any time of the day. The oil's smooth and the frames polished. Thin cushions embroidered with the greyhounds. Good farms. Prove little comfort on the hard wooden seats that you are offered. Gertrude and Joseph, greyhounds, sit staring at you for an uncomfortably long pause. During an uncomfortably long pause. Before they share a look. Let's get down to business. To help us, we'll help you. Gertrude says with a cynical smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Bit of personality. Obviously the room description. And we're all good. I don't need to really flesh anything out here, per se. I guess, tip. Information here isn't necessarily correct. They are rumors after all. But you should change the particulars to suit the story you are in. Story you and your players are interested in telling. The greyhounds may also only reveal these rumors and secrets gradually as the characters earn their trust. And can be convinced to reveal the following. Can be convinced to reveal that. Let's see. The tenants in the spoil have been complaining of earth tremors and odd smells. It was called Spoil Row. I've been complaining of earth tremors and odd spells. These are the houses that collapse later in the adventure. So again, tying it further into the adventure if the players do go to the Greyhounds. For whatever, I may include a note in the important meeting bit up here, as they can be removed without impacting the adventure. I will think about how best to handle it. And include some advice here about how to get the players to these scenes if necessary. Could just be that as the players make their presence known in town, they are invited to meet with these families for each family's own purpose. So that ties that in. The Basset Hounds are tied in. Both the Transylvanian Hounds and the Fox Hounds are essentially plot critical. The Afghan Hounds, they have no tie to anything that's happening, apart from they have the way into the spoil if the players so choose to go through that dungeon crawl. And then the Wolfhounds. Location, small hunting lodge in the grounds of Castle Wolfhound. Victoria and her father greet the characters and invite them on a hunt if they can win the Wolfhounds' respect. They will gain some straight-talking allies. The Wolfhounds themselves know very little and care less about the politics of the upcoming war. So, it's kind of... I know I've said that I like to have for every scene to have a purpose. Obviously, in such a short thing as this, if you are providing several avenues for the players to follow to reach the same point, you probably shouldn't include all of these scenes, but having the... If you know, for example, that your players want to go on a dungeon crawl, perhaps the mayor hasn't sent the letter to Pugmire asking for inquisitors. Perhaps the Afghan Hounds sent a letter to Pugmire asking for specialists, asking for pioneers to check their new mining prospect. That's not a bad idea, actually. I may rework the prologue with a reason for each of these families to invite the characters, whether through false pretenses or not, so that way the adventure can be tailored to I think about that because that will have ramifications about how useful certain scene information is. That's something to think about during editing. I'm just gonna. So my general rule of thumb when writing or doing any creative work is get it out first and then refine it, because you'll never make progress if you don't do anything. Anyway, so commentary. The Wolfhounds are extremely removed from the main story of this adventure, but could be useful allies for future adventures. You wish to tie them in. You know what? Heck it. Time to retcon a scene. Meeting the Transylvanian Hounds. Information. Concerned overwork, the Transylvanian Hounds terrified their station will drop further if the news of their missing relic comes out. They're happy to help in any way they can and show the characters to the display room. As public displays of benevolence are traditional around the ball, they believe they can arrange meetings with the other families, but warn the characters that their reputation may tarnish such introductions. Meetings with the other families, if the characters believe another noble family to be involved. Their reputation may tarnish such introductions. The only exception is Wolfhounds, who the Transylvanian Hounds trust. And don't believe would be involved in this in any way. They give the characters permission to reveal the theft of hounds if they think it would help. Find. So there we have allies who can actually help and brings the wolfhounds into the overall narrative without forcing them in. The wolfhounds are not directly involved in the main story of this adventure. But could be useful allies for future adventures. Particularly if the characters have the Transylvanian Hounds backing. They can win the Wolfhound's respect by claiming a prize. I recommend a short combat encounter with a... Please bear with me while I open the Pugmire rulebook. I didn't think I'd have to open it today, so I'm not prepared. I should just always have it open, let's face it. Pugmire core rules. Please, PDF, open. Thank you. Windows. What are you doing? Let's make sure I'm not picking up anything I shouldn't. No, we're good. Sorry, I'm just checking some things. Where was I? I recommend a short combat encounter with one lined dire rodent, square bracket. Pugmire page. What page is that? 183. Per character plus an additional. We're getting some straight talking allies. The Wolfhounds themselves know very little and careless about the politics of the upcoming ball. And provide some common, or can provide common knowledge about each of the other noble families. Use the information provided in the cast section. Page XX as a foundation for this knowledge. So that ties in the Wolfhounds. It's just, here's some extra information you can learn about each of the families. Gives them a reason to be there without actually doing anything. and also takes away some time that the players could have spent doing something else. As there is a time limit, there is a ticking clock throughout this adventure, which can be speedrun. Like the players can just go straight to, can just follow the critical, like the plot critical path, like my players did, and get to the end. Or they can take their time, talk to the nobles, and then get to the ball itself without preventing the bad thing from happening. Should I provide a hook here? They aren't directly involved in the main story, but could they point them somewhere? Let's do this. Hook. The wolfhounds know that the Afghan hounds are looking for help in clearing tunnels that might lead into the spoil. Mining tunnels that might lead under the spoil of unknown threats. And then that links back around to the Afghan hounds, and one of the players will be going to the Afghan hound. Okay, so all of the noble families are linked to the story in some way, whether directly supporting it or a signpost in that direction. Every scene now has a purpose without it feeling terribly railroady. Well, I guess it kind of does, but again, it's a written adventure, and it's difficult not to make written adventures feel railroady, particularly those that are written with a short time period, with the constraints of having a set number of sessions. Okay. So. That's all that. Now, the brawl. Matthew Husky, at his husband's request, who was in turn ordered to do so by Michelle Wolfhound. So this is an information. Well, I guess commentary. Yeah, commentary. Matthew Husky, at his husband's request, who is in turn ordered to do so by Michelle Wolfhound, has hired some thugs to jump the party if we getting too close to their daughter's secret. If they agree to follow Maxim Basset Hound. Should also say, have a thing about that. I just need to read aloud text. Whoops. If the characters have already followed Maxim Basset Hound, or later do so, they recognize Victoria as the wagging-tailed publican. If they confront her, she admits to wanting more out of life than simply being a noble. Read aloud text. There we go. Situated among the trees on the wolfhound's sprawling estate is a comfortable stone and wooden building. Stone and wood building? Stone and wooden building. Stone and wooden building, I think sounds better. Inside you find a handful of rooms. Small kitchen. Trophy room. And a handful of bedrooms. All built around a large recreational room. Wolfhound. Christian and Victoria. And Victoria Wolfhound are in the process of readying themselves for a hunt in the wilds outside the city. And agree to talk with you once they have returned. As they begin to leave, Christian invites you there we go. Kind of setting the scene, and then players can go with them, do the hunt, and their respect, or just wait in the lodge. Eventually come to them, but that makes it clear you are more than welcome to wait in this lodge and take advantage of their hospitality. And save again. Right, the brawl. I'm just looking at the time. Just trying to figure out if I have... How did I... This scene is not necessary. It's not integral to the story, and can be removed for time-saving purposes. Environment. A cramped alley with a handful rotting crates, providing some degree of cover. Scattered around. Scattered along the walls, a thin trickle of water runs along a channel cut into the center. Well, runs along the channel between the paving stones. Let's just say runs between the paving stones. And makes several of the broken slab slick under pull. Runs between the slabs. That floor of the alley. There we go. Probably should have the read aloud text to set the environment up, but I did it the other way around. So I have simply put 2 heavies and 3 minions in my notes. Again, I touched on this. So a minion is just an antagonist that it's there to take a hit or two to provide some threat, but not necessarily pose a huge threat. And then a heavy is an antagonist that can soak some damage and is capable of dealing damage itself. So the idea being that the minions distract from the heavy as the heavies go to town. Let's try this. I can't remember what I had them as originally. I think it was this. Sorry, I'm just looking at a couple of things. Okay. How did I phrase things? Did I change any? No, I did. Just load their health. Cool. The Brawl. Oh yeah, it says here. Antagonists. They don't get names. They're not, named NPCs unless the GM particularly wants to name them. So. Books for hire, and they are badger slashers. On page 181. With clubs that deal 1d8 plus 3 bludgeoning. Bludgeoning damage instead of battle axes. 2 times. Wild dogs. These use the badger slashers stats. And then we have 3 Sorry, 1 second. Footpads. Let's say, well, these are dogs or cats. Need to use the road rat stats. And I'm pretty happy to not change those in any way. And that is also page 181. So the badger slashers have reasonable hit point, reasonable stamina. They can take, I would say, an average of like 3 attacks before they go down, and deal a decent amount of damage. Road rats can take 1 attack before they go down and are more of an inconvenience, which is the difference between heavies and minions, particularly at lower levels. At higher levels, obviously, you'll be dealing with more stamina points, but that works. To scale the scene for larger parties, alternate between adding... Right. if I set this to what I ran it for with 3 people, alternate between adding 1 thug for hire. You know what? We'll just call it thug. It's just easier. Or 2 footpads. For every PC over 3, just to... no, just to scale it. The... Thug is the leader. Will confess to being hired by a big dog to scare the characters off. All they know is he was large, soft-spoken, and paid with plastic from a pouch with a coat of arms on it. The device was some sort of dog or wolf head. Could be the Afghan hounds, Transylvanian hounds, or the wolfhounds. Based on what the characters know and have seen as they travel through the city. Let's say through Hampton. Which would be Place of Hounds. If it were like a real place. Tun is the Anglo-Saxon word for place of, I believe. So literally the Place of Hounds. Let's see. If pressed, it requires a difficulty 15 charisma. Persuade roll. Or Michelle Wolfhound to confess. The characters have an advantage. I think it's an advantage on this roll if they find the coin purse. Made of plastic. Oh, from a if they find the pouch, or extort the coins from the book. And then we'll have some read aloud text. Is as you're walking past an alleyway. Past an alley. That it happens. A small figure bursts on one side of the street and pushes one of you into the shadows. The alley opposite, where I don't want to give precise numbers. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if they scale it. The guide should realize that, yeah, where a hulking figure waits with a solid wooden club in their paws. If any character succeeds at a difficulty 13 wisdom saving throw. Hang on 1 second, need to check something. that's fine. And then I need to check something in the core rules. Or in the rulebook, I should say. Where would it be? Playing the game, there we go. Okay. The characters. Let's see. Should make a difficulty 13 wisdom saving throw. Any who fail are considered surprised. The first round of combat. One of the footpads begins adjacent to the smallest character, and they have pushed into the middle of the alley. There we go. Set the scene, set up how the combat begins, and then the combat begins. Begin the combat encounter as normal. This scene is a combat encounter. There we go. Okay, so made good progress today. I think I'm essentially finished. Now it's just a case of going through it for editing, tying everything together. As I said, I'll be providing some information on personalities for role-playing tips, but that takes me a while, historically speaking, so I'll be doing that off-stream. But there we go. Today we discussed how, particularly in limited run things like short-form actual play series or short-form campaigns, every scene should serve a purpose, and it can just be to signpost you to a more integral scene, but it should still link to the story in some way. Even if you are providing many ways for the player characters to reach the same point, they should be different and varied, rather than just here is the exact same thing, just with a different face slapped on the NPC. I have no idea when this will actually hit Canis Minor. My writing time at the minute is all over the place, but it will be as soon as I can do it, and I will, as usual, post on the Onyx Path Discord server when it goes live and make people aware that it is a thing that you can purchase, not very expensively, but you can purchase it to run in your own time. Hopefully you've enjoyed this season within a season of Behind the Screen. Next, theoretically, the next stream will be the 7th, but there's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and I don't know necessarily that I'll be able to make it, but I'll obviously, hopefully, try to. Well, I will obviously try to make the stream happen. I know this year has been a bit weird for the show, and I do apologise. Just a lot of stuff has happened and then just kept happening. 2023 is the year that really has given some memorable moments for all of the wrong reasons. But you don't need to know my problems. So I'll try to come back in 2 weeks. If you've missed any of the show and do want to catch up on it, if you are a subscriber to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Onyx Path, the link is in the video description on YouTube. You can watch it right now from the beginning, if you so choose. If you're not a subscriber and you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account for a Prime Gaming account, and that gives you 1 sub per month for free. I say free, air quotes free. It does not auto-renew, so you can, but it gives you the exact same benefits as a subscription would give you. It gives the Onyx Path's channel the exact same benefits a subscription would give them. Just requires an Amazon Prime account. If that is not a thing you are interested in doing, totally understand. If you wait a week, the show will be available for anyone to watch on the Onyx Path Twitch channel, or it will theoretically go up on youtube.com/@comradebubbles. There's a playlist there where I put all of the past episodes of the show once I'm able to do so after that week's exclusivity period. Or I try to. I was going through my recordings yesterday and realised that I had yet to upload the last episode of the show, which was the 12th of September. So there we are. But I'll do a quick run through again of the Monday meeting notes for people who missed those at the start. The Monday meeting notes being the I'm not going to copy the text because there's been so little chat activity, which is totally fine. Lurking is totally appreciated. But, you know what? You can see the links, but I'll post a link just in case people have joined since the beginning and don't have access to those links. The Monday meeting notes is the best place to go for any updates on how Onyx Path is doing. And right now, a big focus, understandably so, of the Monday meeting notes and all of the media stuff is the World Below, which is Onyx Path's new OSR meets Storypath fantasy role-playing game. Check it out. Ooh, hello. Thank you for the raid. Polished Cryptid. I am just wrapping up, but welcome in, raiders. This is the very end of a show where I talk through how to write community content and how I approach writing content for TTRPGs in general. Hang on, I can do this. Is it this? It is not this. Never mind. Please bear with me while I laboriously type out the address. I can't remember the Nightbot command. If you go to youtube.com/iComradeBubbles, there's past episodes of the show. If that kind of thing seems interesting to you, you don't have to, obviously, but if you are interested in writing tabletop role-playing game material, or just want to see what goes into writing player options or an adventure, I've got a couple of series of the show up on my YouTube channel. And you're more than welcome to check them out. However, yes, the main focus of Onyx Path's Monday meeting, understandably, was the World Below, the new game that's currently crowdfunding on BackerKit. It is funded. You all get it no matter what, as long as you keep your pledge. And as is the norm, they are releasing chapters of the text as it stands right now to backers. It's without art, but it's usually about 90% complete. So if you do want to get a taster of it before the end of the campaign, that is an option. There is also an Ashcan available on DriveThruRPG that you can buy for cheap. That is available for cheap, I should say. And it gives you a taste of the game. That does have some art in it, and some layout, and a good sense of how the game feels to play. If you follow, again, for the raiders, if you follow this link and scroll down to the media section, there is a whole host of actual plays to support the World Below's crowdfunding campaign. If you are interested in seeing it played, I appreciate this show is not necessarily to everyone's taste. Not necessarily to everyone's taste, I should say. It is not everyone wants to just sit and watch someone type. But again, I am happy to answer any questions about the process or about running role-playing games. This is kind of a just general GM tips show as well. Not that I'm an expert, but I have some experience. The next stretch goal for the campaign is a ecology book by Ed Greenwood, who created the Forgotten Realms for D&D. He's on the writing team for the World Below. And there's a whole fauna book in the works as the next stretch goal. What else was discussed in the Monday meeting notes? How GameHallCon went. Mage 20 fans, you're getting Lore of the Traditions as print on demand on Wednesday. And They Came from Camp Murder Lake is getting a Tasty Bit Cabin in the Woods on Wednesday as well. Blah, blah, blah. Next, the rest of the week on this channel. If you miss any of this or want to see the promotional graphics or anything, please do stick around at the end of the show. But after all of these times are in Eastern Daylight. I assume that's what the D means, but in EDT. 8 p.m. today is Trinity Continuum Assassins 1-on-1 shot, which is a one-player, one-story guide Trinity Continuum Assassins one-shot. Wednesday, 4 p.m, The World Below, Roll for Wishes one-shot with Matthew Dawkins. Roll for Wishes is I think, special effect? It's a charitable campaign, anyway. Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed this show or are intrigued by the concept, Travis Legg, Plastic Age Plays, will be writing some Trinity Continuum Aeon material for the Story Path Nexus, if you're interested, as I say, in community content focus shows. Thursday, 9 p.m, Hunt of the Vigil, Fear and Loathing. Saturday, 2 p.m, The World Below, Meet Your Makers, which is an interview with some of the World Below team. Saturday, 9 p.m, Changeling the Lost, Viva Lost Vegas. And Sunday, 6 p.m, Scion 2nd Edition Godsend. So there's a whole bunch of media linked for actual plays and deep dives into the World Below. Project statuses: First Draft, Scion, Titans Rising, Origin and Hero Adventures. In Art Direction, Exalted 3rd Edition, 8 Directions, and Many-Faced Strangers. The World Below and the jump starts for TCF, They Came from Cyclops Cave and Classified. In Layout, Scion Once and Future, and World 20 Icons of Rage. In Proofing, we have the Scion Community Content Guide. Again, if you are interested in getting into community content writing for any of the Onyx Path Publishing's games, on top of the Discord being a wonderful resource for ideas and advice. Obviously, this show, Travis's show on Thursdays, Onyx Path are also putting together some community content guides for various game lines. Hunt of the Vigil Jumpstart, They Came from Classified, They Came from Cyclops' Cave, and Exalted 3rd Edition across the 8 directions. And at Press, Trinity Continuum Adventure, book, screen, and booklet. World 20 Apocalyptic Record, book, screen, and booklet. Exalted Essence, book and screen. Mage 20, Lore of the Traditions. Exalted 3rd Edition, Crucible of Legends VTT tokens. Scion Dragon Jumpstart. Exalted Essence Novellas 1 and 3, as well as VTT assets. Trinity Continuum Anima, Exalted 3rd Edition, Crucible of Legends. Trinity Continuum Player's Guide, Kickstarter shirt, Exalted 3rd Edition Exigent shirt, and M20 Lore of Traditions, and the taste of it I mentioned. If you are interested in more of my thoughts, I do lurk on the Discord, on the Onyx Path Discord server. If you have any questions about Onyx Path games or anything, the community is wonderfully supportive and will answer your questions as best you can. If you are interested in me specifically, I do stream on Twitch. It's at Comrade Bubbles. If you click on the tag in the stream title, that will take you to my channel. A follow is appreciated, but not necessary. I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky as Comrade Bubbles. It's like .bluesky.social or whatever it is. It's the default Blue Sky domain, and it's just at Comrade Bubbles on Twitter /X. I don't know for how much longer, but I'm there still for my sins. And I will also be streaming in about half an hour on my own channel. Video game stuff, but always have to talk about role-playing games. If you have any questions or feedback, preferably constructive, obviously, I will be around for about 5 minutes until 4 o'clock-ish as the post-roll rolls. But until next time, please do stay safe, please do stay healthy, please do stay wholesome. If you are offered a seasonal vaccination for the flu, for COVID, for anything, please take it. I'm a medically vulnerable person, and I can assure you that there are many more people like me who will be very grateful if you are vaccinated and take all appropriate measures to limit possible infections. But that being said, much love to you all, thank you for watching, and I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks.